He said a
like
sleeve.
a sleeve. The older you get, it's like you can listen to your body more.
Dropping on Paul Swan helmet for the listeners out there.
Yeah.
One last cheers.
Who's that?
You guys.
Appreciate you, boys.
Appreciate you.
Yo, five friends dropping gems, sports, culture, entertainment from a broader lens. It's where it all begins, and we'll be talking that on or off the track. The whole crew ready, it's time to drop the jack.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Drop the Jack. Myself, Michael Hicks, Mamba Smith,
What up, dog?
Jordan Page, and unfortunately, Paul Swan is not here with us, but we know he's partying somewhere.
Bringing the
And
juice.
Darrell Edwards.
Let's go, baby.
Yo, I've had a great time with y'all. This has been really fun. The journey that we've gone on together has been great. Now, let's just continue that journey. But we talked at the beginning of the season about talking about wellness. I really want to dive into that on this episode. So let's start with the fitness part. Cause you guys as pit crew athletes,
Yep.
you know, I'm pretty big, you know what I mean? But you guys are in the gym all the time.
Pretty buff.
Yeah, we're all right.
Big boy.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, your regimen, you know, I want to know what you look forward to. Like, are you trying to get bigger? Are you trying to get smaller? Like, walk me through everything with that.
Well, for me, man, I'm just trying to figure out how to last longer, you know, as far as working out and stuff like that. So whatever that looks like, I'm still trying to figure that out, but I trial and error things.
Right.
You know, I might work out with Hicks one day and do some CrossFit stuff just to get more, you know, stamina based and just cardio stuff. But I also have implemented a lot of band workouts, you know, a lot of resistance, eccentric. So not necessarily the heaviest things, but more just muscle under tension, you know, for a long period of time. And it's been doing me justice, man. You get older, right? You don't want to keep lifting super heavy, in my opinion.
Right.
You can, but for what we do, I try to be even kill, you know, so I have some weight, some muscle, but also speed, you know what I mean?
Yep.
We're trying to get from A to B as fast as we can. So I've been doing a lot of the band stuff lately, and that way I ain't got to put a lot of load on my body.
You do a lot of recovery, like the recovery. I know I see you guys
Yeah.
in the ice pool, ice tub a lot.
Yeah, I do a lot of the recovery. A lot of it takes place at Freedom Longevity and Wellness in Mooresville. I partner with those guys as an athlete to go in there. Those guys have cold plunge, the saunas, the Vibex. What else they got? The hyperbaric chamber, everything, man. But the thing that I see that benefits me the most is the cold plunges. It's more of a mental game. You know, you're in there for 3 to 5 minutes at 40 degree of water, cold water, and you got to take yourself to a whole nother place to sit in those cold tubs. I'm talking bro, it's insane, man. So like, Freedom Longevity has been helping me as I get older, and I've been seeing a lot of benefits. Sauna, you know, detoxing, sweating my tail off, getting a contrast, everything, man, just to try to find an even kill balance to just be at the top tier level for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, before, you know, it was six man stuff. I didn't eat real good.
What's not real good?
Well, my wife can verify this, but I used to eat like a sleeve of Oreos in the bed at night with a glass of milk.
He said a
Like a sleeve. It was so bad.
He was with a glass of milk.
With a glass of
so
milk.
you weren't Tony Stewart. You weren't dunking it in the Coke.
Oh no!
you're not.
I'm
Okay.
dunking it
In
in
the
the,
Coke.
I'm
In the
dunking it in
Coke.
the milk.
They don't know the commercial.
Yeah, it's.
I don't want to hear about it. The milk.
Right,
Dude,
talk about
keep
his
me at the
story.
milk.
Yeah. So, anyways, I found fitness. Funny story of mine. High school buddy of mine, Neil Perry. I call him one day and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to a CrossFit gym. I'm like, man, there ain't no way. I was like, if you're going to a CrossFit gym, I'll drop in with you. So he's like, all right, I'm going tomorrow, 4 o'clock. I'm like, all right, well, I'm in on it. So I go there, and I like immediately fell in love with it. And you know, the funny thing about that is I found CrossFit, but also I found out it translated to my job too, because like when you're doing those type of workouts, like you're under pressure, you know, you're running at a max heart rate, and you're testing your mental. Like you're in a grind and you're trying to push through this workout. So I've seen it correlate to kind of what I do for my job, you know, being under pressure. And like when you're doing a 15-minute workout and your heart rate's at 150, 160 the whole time, and I look at it and go, you know what? This is nothing compared to a pit stop. If I can do that for 15 minutes, I can do 9, 10 pit stops. So I kind of found that for my fitness, and it actually helped my mental at the same time. So it was kind of like a win-win for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then obviously when I found that, I started eating healthy. Ice cream's still my weakness. I still eat ice cream at night, probably 3 nights a week.
So what was your body fat percentage before, and what is it now?
I was like right at 12, and now I'm like 3 to 4%.
Hold up, pause.
Yeah, so
You acting like I'm trying to get to 12. So I'm a little above 12, man.
I mean, I ate Bojangles 3 times a day.
I can't blame you on that. I mean,
it was I ate whatever I wanted, but you know, I found fitness, and I enjoyed it. I love that grind. I love that being under the pressure, like testing myself, just seeing like how far I can push, and that's I feel like that's made me better at my job.
So
also.
it was diet and the CrossFit.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
Juice, I mean, this is your category. This is like your home run swing.
Yeah, I mean,
this is what I've been learning a lot lately is about, you know, the eating part. That's what I made the biggest change. I always worked out, you know, from high school. I started working out pretty seriously all the way up through college, even getting into NASCAR. I've been working out, but the diet was definitely what I learned. Has a big impact on the longevity that we can sustain doing this. So I tried to tap into that. And like you say, trial and error. I've been trial and error with my diet for like the past almost a year. In November, to be a year that I've been experimenting with different stuff on my diet.
What fell under that trial and error for you, like far as eating?
So I was vegan for a majority of the year, and I wasn't, you know, using like protein powders and nothing like that. I was just going straight out plant-based, just nothing else plant-based. And I felt good. I definitely lost weight. I definitely lost some strength, but I feel like as far as my performance was still good. I still was moving fast. I still was pitting the car exactly how I needed to pit it. But as far as like in the weight room, I felt like my strength wasn't where it was. And I feel like now, since I started incorporating seafood back into my diet, started incorporating back protein in my diet, I've been able to get the same weight, you know, that I was pushing in the gym back now. So I feel like that's what I've experienced. But I think it's ways that I could have changed my diet different ways, just with more information to where I can be more effective with the weight. Also is feeling well, but I'm still like trying to figure out that medium, right? When I feel like now I'm in that good space where it's like I got some of my weight back, I got my strength back, still feel good. So now I'm like creating it how I want to eat and what feels good to me. So, and I still do the same training I've been doing as far as like strength training, cardio. I stretch a lot. I stretch like every day. I stretch, and I also get on the Vibex machine. That's been helping me a lot. The cold plunges, that's been like a game changer since you know, the wellness facility reintroduced me to it, because I introduced to it a little bit in college, but I never really tapped into it. I would get in there just with my lower body. That's probably it. But when I get up to my neck in the cold plunges now, it's like that's a game changer. It's definitely with the mental aspect of it. It's definitely mentally challenging. And I feel like that's also what we need doing what we do now, like the mental aspect.
How cold is the cold plunge, boys?
40 degrees.
Yeah, you can get
46 is 44 is the lowest I ever did.
I feel like it's crazy too, because like the older you get, it's like you can listen to your body more.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and the younger you are, you're like, I'm good. You feel good.
Yeah. The bounce back is when you're younger is crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mama, what about you? Any fitness journeys or?
Yeah. So like I always had like a pretty fast metabolism, so I didn't have to worry about it. But and then everyone tells you when you hit 30, like things change. It's really like 31 that it punches you in the face though. Like
I have told him that several times. He's like, so when does it start? I'm like 31, 32.
Yeah, like 30's like too much on the nose, but 31.
Yeah.
So like this year, I've literally, knock on wood, right? But I've never really like broken a bone or had any serious injury. This year, I tore my Achilles.
Wow.
Just like this year, and like it's been torn all year. Like I tore it in February. There was no way to stop, so I just had to keep trying to work it and massage that area, and man, like I've tried to stay in the gym. You know, our producer Austin, he's a big gym rat, and so like he's actually motivated me a lot to get into the gym more and, you know, get my body right, because I want to be able to do stuff for a long time. So I made a new goal for myself. I want to live till I'm like 108. 108. Now there's a reason for it. So hear me out. So I was born in 92. So if I live until I'm 108, that means I make it to 2100. Well, that's the 90s, all of the 2000, and then make it into the next set. That's be kind of sick.
That's cool. I never thought about that.
I didn't either. I thought I want to be done like earlier, but I'm like, this would be a cool goal. And then like that translates into, well, how am I treating my body? Like, if I can get there, I want to be able to still be able to move around and talk junk. You know what I mean?
And that's mentally tough when you have an injury like that. All the rehab, and that's hard on you.
It's not. It hasn't been. It slowed me. It definitely is a slowing down process. Like I still walk with a limp, even though like it's like better. I can't mentally. My body's like, no, we're still hurt, even though we're trying to.
Sure.
So.
But at the same time, like, and I know we talking about wellness, diets, and stuff like that. But I'm gonna be all the way honest. Like, I'm not the best at staying on a diet all the time. Like you talked about Austin, you know, it's kind of like accountability partner. Like Juice is kind of like, you know, an inspiration. You know, he never like says, yo, do this, eat that, but he's like, you know, this is what I'm doing, bro. You know, it's a journey I'm on. If you like, I see some benefits, right? So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the cleanest eat. I love food. I love eating. My wife loves eating. You know, and we do go to certain states when we travel for vacation, and I eat. You know what I'm saying? But what I try to do is outwork the food. Does it happen all the time? No.
How's that helping that 12% body fat?
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just being honest with the people. Like, you know, my diet isn't always clean. There's spurts where I'm doing really well, and then there's times where I'm like, no, you know, I'm a splurge. I like eating food. It's a happy place for me. And there's been times where I've even tried diets, and it's almost made me go into depression or be stressed out, so on and so forth. Like, I've experienced that, and it's been tough. And anything that's gonna mess with my mental, I'm like, I don't really know if it's worth it. I just gotta find a happy medium with it. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you say that, because on my journey of getting, if I can say that right, of getting, you know, eating clean, I went through a spurt there where I was just eating clean. Like I wasn't having nothing. Like it was just straight chicken, the whole 9 yards, and it sucked, right? Like it wasn't really good for my mental. Like once I started incorporating something that I enjoyed, like you got to enjoy life too, right? Like it was like, oh, it's going to be all right. And, you know, it made me feel better.
Sure.
You know, that I could time to time, I could eat what I wanted. If I wanted a bowl of ice cream, I could eat it. So there's definitely a fine balance there of going too hard and not enjoying life.
Yeah, I just try to like do it seasonally, right? Like, you know, playoffs or a certain, you know, I know it's going to be like the summertime. Like I just try to like pinpoint when I'm doing it.
Your body tells you. I feel like that's like your body will tell you what's good for it, what it needs, and where you're lacking, and it kind of like keeps you straight. If you listen the right way, it'll keep you straight. And the same goes to the mental part. And just like, boy, all season you've been on this mental journey, and like, how important has that been when you handle adversity, when you handle the highs, all that? How important has that been for you?
Lows.
I feel like when I started this journey of getting my mental stronger, like I think that's what led me to the food area, to make me want to start being better with my food, because you know your stomach, it definitely regulates a lot that goes on in your body. Like they say, your stomach is your first brain. So what you put in your stomach, that kind of changes your mood, and that also sends, you know, different things, chemicals to your brain. So that kind of like sets your mood. Like when you eat, you're happy. You know, like when you start, you know what I'm saying? So it's a direct correlation. So your stomach, your gut is very important. And I think when I wanted to get my mental stronger, me kind of like being more spiritual and staying and not being so physical, that's why I went on my fast that I went on. Because I definitely, now you just operate on a mental level, on a spiritual level, not really physical. So that also enabled me to be able to withstand anything that's going on, which is like in my daily life, which is like criticism, adversity. Because if I can, you know, defeat my own thoughts of being hungry and go without food or a certain type of food for a while, I can withstand somebody criticizing me. I can withstand me making a mistake. I can withstand anything that's going on outside of me when I conquer something that was inside of me first.
You
know what I'm saying? Because when it's just you, and you only battling with yourself, it's like the outside stuff is like it becomes easier to handle. When you battle yourself and you win that battle, it's like, okay, everything else I can handle that.
Yeah, when you talk about fasting, that's mentally.
Yeah,
have you done that before?
I have, and it's I wanted to hit on that when he talked about it. That will break you down mentally. I mean, because you're so hungry. I mean, it gives all kinds of thoughts through your mind.
How have you guys fasted? Because Darrell, you haven't fasted before, have you?
Just hourly. So like if I stop eating at 7 at night, I may not eat till 12 the next morning.
Okay. What about y'all?
That's kind of the way I am. So I eat a really early supper. So I eat like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then I won't eat till lunch the next day.
Yeah, that's intermittent too.
And it was it was hard at first, but now but I also eat lunch early. So you know I'm eating lunch by 10:45.
Yeah.
So you're not technically going till, you know, some people's lunch is 1 o'clock.
Right.
So I'm not going till 12 or 1 without eating food.
But what are we doing for mental health? Like, is there any meditation? You know, Jordan, you talked about. Oh, Mama, you meditate or you spend any time working on your mental?
I call it seat time. I get some seat time.
time?
Seat time. I get some seat time in prayer every morning. That really helps. Like, it's like a win first thing in the morning. I heard this thing the other day about routine and get a couple wins first thing. Wake up, make your bed, brush your teeth, get to that first workout, whatever that first thing is you need to do, like get it on time. And those really help. Like, it sounds really cliche.
It dictates your day.
100%.
When you start your day with a couple wins, things that you feel like you've accomplished already, oh my God, it just gets you going.
I want to dive a little deeper. And Jordan talked about like thoughts. You talked about like overcoming adversity through like the initial thoughts. If I can overcome this, then I can overcome that. Is that a thought? At the end of the day, is that a thought process? Because what's considered a quote unquote win? Right? Like, is that, like, can we go deeper? Like, is that just a thought process? Like, I always use the example of why on payday is that day typically better for most of the world? Like, that
money in
Friday,
the bank.
you know, that Friday, that
external
first of the
thing,
month, you're like, it's payday. Oh, you won't have a good day typically. But it tells me that really just stems from a thought process. Because that's just the thing.
You could generate that thought on your own. You don't need the external thing.
And that's what, like, I've been trying to channel as far as mentally. Like, how can I, you know, try to master the thought process of things, meaning, like, the outcome already exists. I'm just a part of the story and the puzzle. You know, it's going to be what it's going to be, the outcome. That's already out there.
Just manifesting those things. Those
so why
positives.
think you know what I mean? I've been trying to channel the thoughts, like, because you can control that. You control it on the Friday when you got paid, didn't you? It don't matter what happened that day.
That's a fact.
You was gonna be happy.
That's a fact.
So I've been trying to mentally work on how do I control that every single day, 24 hours, 365.
And that's good that you said that, because I learned recently manifesting, that's what manifesting is. We think, so whenever we want to achieve something, a job, we get a certain amount of money, a material thing, we're all chasing the emotion that thing brings us, not the thing.
Right.
It's the thing is the middleman.
It's the euphoric.
You know what I'm saying?
energy that you
It's
get
like,
from
oh, if
that.
I get this, I'll feel this way. If I go on vacation, I'll feel at peace. If I get the car, I'll feel established.
So when you get it, then what?
That's what I'm saying. It's no longer it's really the middleman to the emotion that you're trying to
That
pursue.
sounds like a hamster wheel.
Right, exactly,
Right?
It
exactly.
is.
Because it's like, I got it, and it's like, oh man, something else. Now I got to get it again. You know what I'm saying? To get that emotion again, I feel like I got to get that thing again. But it's really you that's giving that thing the value, giving that thing the control over the emotion. It's not the thing, it's you.
Yeah, I try to tell, like, when I'm around friends and stuff, and they've done something good, right, and they feel great about it, I'm like, take this thing that you feel right now, really understand what that feeling is, put it in a bottle, put it on the shelf for a rainy day. Because it's just like when we talked to Kim Kuhn about, you know, have you ever, like, sat back and really looked at what you've done? When you do, you bottle that joy, save it for a rainy day, and pop that thing open when you're a little sad, because then it reminds you, no, I'm good. Like, life is good. And you got to remind yourself of that, I feel like, a lot. And
this too shall pass, like they say.
And, like, when you have kids, like, that's
it's
got to be, I mean, every day is a new day.
It's really hard for me to balance that, because, you know, I go to work and I come home, and my oldest, she races go-karts, so I'm constantly working on them. And the way my mind works, it's like I'm always, I can make it better. So I'm constantly in the garage, and then, you know, I go pick them up from school, and then they want to jump on the trampoline. They want to do this. They want to do that. So I'm fighting those battles of trying to find balance, like what we talk about, right? Like trying to find that moment for me.
That's key.
But the way I fight it is I know if I put in all the effort that I can into that, that's kind of my, like, reinsurance and my, like, I did that. Like, it's done. It's on to the next day, right? Like, that's kind of my balance. Like, when she goes out there and wins, it's like, see, yeah, it was rough, and I had to put on all that time, but it prevailed, right? Like, it paid off. But I'm still trying to find that balance. And you know, workouts are kind of that some of that balance for me, because that's the one point in the day where I absolutely think about nothing else.
Right.
So that's kind of my balance. That's where I get my, like, settled time. I know that's odd because you're in the middle of a workout and you're hurting, but that's kind of my balance.
I mean, they say working out is a good stress reliever, so it definitely, does something to you, physically when you work out that kind of like clears your mind on whatever you
and it does.
Yeah. I can relate to that for sure.
Starts with a thought, man. For example, if you're going through something hard, right, in the moment when you're going through it, it feels like it'll last forever. But you've also had one of those moments 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like this too shall pass is a real thing. But when you're in the midst of it, it feels like it's gonna last forever.
Good or bad.
And then you talk about like chasing goals and stuff, right? You ever won a championship or seen your favorite team win a championship, a Super Bowl, NBA, whatever the case may be? It's only a matter of a few weeks before they're predicting who the next champion is going to be.
Not even
so
few
those
weeks.
guys that work
the day after.
Those guys that work their tail off all year to entertain, to win a championship, a world championship, or whatever. Soon as they get it, they're already there's already odds out
it's over.
on who's going to win it next year.
It's a moment. It's only a moment.
Think about that, bro.
I do hate that.
I think that's why.
Can't even let it sink in. They already talk about next year.
Yeah, like I don't even get to like enjoy this thing. I do hate that.
And
That's why they say if you live for the cheers, you die by the booze.
All right, man. You know what this makes me think about? It makes me think about gloves off. I feel like we're right in that.
Well,
What's the
since
gloves
you
off?
mentioned it, today's gloves off. Have you ever been shelved or benched in life?
Yeah, bro. I'm just gonna let it rip. I felt like that very recently. I felt like I was heading in a direction and a path, and I thought like everything was going well. And then the next year came around, and it was all paused. It was just like I felt like I was shelved. I really felt like I was potentially gonna get moved out or moved back. But it was one of those things where like I just had to be patient. And this too shall pass. And it's evolved into way more than what it probably was going to be in the first place. But when you're in those moments, man, that turmoil. And then I went on vacation. I went on vacation last summer and got my mind right and came back for the second half of the year. And it's been nothing but beautiful since. So that was tough. Not doing enough. Not feeling like
For me, man, I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a bench or a shelving moment. I'ma feel like it was all the odds were against me like moment. Meaning like just coming from Baltimore, tough upbringing, just the odds were stacked against me. Like it was gonna be hard, but like it motivated me, right? It motivated me to just push, find an scapegoat, which was basketball. Leaning on, my mother, my father. My mother instilled, just never give up and never quit, attitude in me. My dad showed me that grind, hustler, mentality. So not benched or shelved necessarily. I've had those moments, but the main one that sticks out for me is just having those odds stacked against me, and it almost looked like there's no way that I'm gonna be able to make it out of where I've come from. But that was the motivation.
Yeah, for me, I would say it would be my team that I was on. We got benched right before the playoffs, and we were a good team. We had a couple of mistakes here and there, but there was a better team in the building that was doing a little bit better than we are, and they moved us and just didn't have the confidence in us, to perform those last 10 races, and that hurt, right? And that sucks when you get benched. It's not a good feeling at all.
For sure, it definitely can mess with like your confidence moving forward. But it's an experience, right? So when that time rolls around again, you're able to approach it and respond differently.
Yeah.
What about you, Jordan?
I think mine is similar to what you said about being from a certain area and being, written off based on where you're from and, what you look like. And I just think also being from Buffalo, being from the inner city, I felt that same pressure of just like thinking like, what am I gonna make of this life that I have? Because I didn't see too many people around me making much of their lives based on where I'm from. So I'm like, is that gonna be me too? Like, am I just not gonna amount to nothing and be in Buffalo for the rest of my life? So I think, like you said, the odds being stacked against you. I had the same perspective until I got out of Buffalo and I saw that I could actually be somebody and do something with myself. And once again, that self-belief thing, like just making sure I believe in myself. And I think I was able to do that all the way up until now, into where it got me. So I just think, having that self-belief and doing the amazing things when the odds are against you, I think that's powerful. That's a powerful talent.
For sure, man. No, I love that, man. And once again, man, I know we're at the end of this series, but man, I really appreciate you guys being on this show. I think
great.
it's been more than what we could ever expect. If I'm being honest.
For sure.
Very true.
We've gotten vulnerable. We've had plenty of laughs. And man, plenty of laughs.
Let our hair down a little bit.
We've had some great guests stop by, man, and it's just been one that I think the world's gonna remember.
It's been a pleasure.
And we ain't done yet, right, fellas?
No, we ain't done. We want to make sure we thank y'all for being a part of Drop the Jack. Tuning in, supporting us. It's something new. We've never really seen it in our space before. Thank you so much for all the support and love.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Drop the Jack. It's been awesome having you guys tune in each and every week. We appreciate you. Check it out on YouTube, NASCAR.com, and all podcast platforms. One last cheers.
Cheers.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, boys.
Appreciate you, fellas.
Appreciate y'all.